And it seems to be just so out in the open, so business as usual, that basically he's saying that state legislators were appropriating more money for the probation department's budget in exchange for their friends and supporters to get jobs within that probation department. That's unfolding right now, but it's interesting that these accusations, they say the same thing that this anonymous whistleblower said about the sheriff. And basically they're saying that these people that are hired into the probation department are giving cash campaign contributions to these same state legislators. And, you know, if it's going on, if it's true, which it seems to be, you know, this is just typical mafia business as usual. And it's just so out in the open, it's so brazen that, you know, I mean, there's really, you know, what else can there be? There's so many people that have witnessed it. So we're going to follow up on this, and I will try to get the 300-page report by Attorney Paul Ware for future shows. But it strikes me very, very odd that this sheriff would commit suicide. It doesn't seem like he was in enough hot water to justify something like that. We can tell that basically he was looking forward to retiring, you know. Obviously he was looking forward to retiring. He filed for his pension, $98,000 a year. And he's a family man, wife and kids. And it just seems very, very strange that over one allegation that he decided to commit suicide. And last week I mentioned briefly what I have heard. Basically, what I have heard is that if a professional assassin sets out to kill somebody, one common method of this is to basically make it look like a suicide. They'll basically tell the victim to write a letter, a suicide letter, and commit suicide. And if they don't, they threaten to kill the victim's family. And everything regarding this sheriff in Middlesex County just fits into that so textbook-like. He left on, I forget what day it was, but I think it was either Friday or Saturday. This sheriff got in his car, his state-issued unmarked Dodge Charger, by the way. He got in his car with no luggage, just his laptop computer and his Sheriff's Department issued Glock 40 caliber, I believe it is, pistol. Just his pistol and his laptop computer. He got in his Dodge Charger. He drove up to Maine, Wells, Maine, which is on the coast, apparently. He drove up to Wells, Maine, checked into a hotel, wrote a 4 or 5 page suicide note, and put a bullet in his head. And it's just so perfect, so neat. It's just so textbook from what I've heard, plus the fact that it really doesn't seem like he was in enough hot water to justify something like that, plus the fact he was obviously looking forward to his retirement. It just doesn't make sense. This needs to be investigated. Because let's speak hypothetically for a minute. Let's say that the mafia runs Massachusetts. Let's just say that, hypothetically. Let's say the mafia runs Massachusetts, okay? They're conducting their corrupt, business as usual, involving cash payoffs for jobs for their friends in the whole 9 yards. Normally what a prosecutor, say a federal prosecutor, normally what a prosecutor will do is they will get enough evidence on somebody who's committed a crime. They'll get enough evidence, and then they'll offer to make that person a deal to turn state's evidence, basically. Let's say they have somebody under surveillance, they have proof of that person committing crimes, but they want to get to the people higher up in the organization, so they will try to make a deal with the person in exchange for testimony and information. They will go easier on the person when it comes to time to sentence them. So that being said, if the mafia runs Massachusetts, and if Sheriff Dipaola had enough evidence against him to pressure him into turning state's evidence, well, him committing suicide just sort of conveniently eliminates a threat to other people higher up in the organization. Now, doesn't it? So that's the problem I have with this. This needs to be investigated by the FBI. I didn't find anywhere in the paper where they had said that it will be, but it needs to be investigated by the FBI. It cannot be assumed that this is just a simple suicide, and these investigations into Massachusetts corruption needs to be taken to the fullest. Because I'll tell you what, all you need to do is scratch the surface to see the laws being broke in Massachusetts. Anybody can go into any courtroom. Well, I shouldn't say any, but anybody can go into a courtroom in Massachusetts and see illegal immigrants being, allowed to drive without driver's licenses. And I mean, there's no enforcement against it, none, because these people in Massachusetts, basically, they've just become so arrogant over the years that they don't even feel threatened anymore about the laws that they are breaking. So I really hope that the FBI investigates the suicide of Sheriff Dipaola. I hope state police investigate it too. I mean, I hope the good people that are in the state of Massachusetts in official capacity, I hope they do step forward, be bold, and just not take this lying down, because this stinks. It just plain stinks. And also the fact that it's not really making that much noise on the news is also a little bit disturbing. I would think Sheriff committing suicide would be a much bigger news story than it is. And outside of Middlesex County, it really doesn't seem to have made any waves. Some people I've talked to around here today hadn't heard about it. And, I mean, come on. You should be hearing about this stuff. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Numbers here, 401-766-1380, 401-769-0600. This is Reality Check.